Welcome to Improv for the Podcast. On this week's episode, we're joined by Beatriz Herman, who will tell us all about her improvisational journey. We'll play a couple games, and most importantly, learn how she improv'd her life. Let's hit it. Welcome to Improv for the Podcast. Tonight, I am joined by Master of Stories, improviser, Beatriz Herman. Woo! This is the first time we've had a master on the show, so thank you so much for being here tonight.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I see. I had to pick that title because you said it earlier, so there it is. How you doing this evening, Beatriz?
I'm doing really good, thank you. It's nice to be wearing sandals in the winter, you know?
It's part of our West Coast privilege. Yeah,
Exactly.
It was, 80 degrees today? Yet I'm wearing a sweatshirt. It's kind of like getting the mindset of winter, even though it's not here.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's how it goes.
Yeah, I have to try. And I work in an office. Sometimes there's air conditioner. Ooh, it's low 70s, chilly. I gotta try. So as we're getting started, I just want to ask, what's your relationship? How'd you find this old place, old IFTP?
Old IFTP.
Yeah.
I was driving by.
No
and
way.
literally. I was like, there's a theater there. I should probably do something creative with my life. And I Googled it. And next thing you know, I'm signing up for a class.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This is a new one. I've never heard I was driving by and saw it. It's always I went on Yelp and they had good reviews. Or I came to a show, but driving by, I love that.
Yeah.
All right.
Old school way.
Old school way. Yeah, that's how we used to find things. That's still the best way to get a good deal on an apartment, right? You got to drive around, find the signs in person. None of that Zillow, all that business.
Right.
You got to hunt them down. So it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
All right. So when was that? When did you get started here?
So that was I was driving by in June.
Okay.
And
Nice.
and I signed up in July. So I started my first class in July.
All right. Fantastic. So you've been with us for half a year now, pretty much?
Half a year now, I know.
Amazing.
Almost.
Okay. So we're going to get more into that in a little bit. Because I
Okay.
want to ask teachers, what day of the week you're taking classes, all this stuff. We're going to get there. But before we do, we got to play some three things.
Okay.
It's an IFTP tradition. So three things, but it's personal. So I have some categories selected based off what I could learn from you from Instagram. So we do some impressive research. I used to do LinkedIn. I got locked out of my account. I got to fix that.
Oh,
so
no.
That's really affected my
Did
research.
you not pay your fee?
No, it's not even that. It's tied to my college email, which I haven't touched
yes.
in years.
Yes.
And I don't know how to get into that.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's not good. Not good.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I had the same problem. I finally fixed it.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, it's I just got to sit down, spend some time. But I only go on there for this show. And then every time I remember, I'm like, oh, right, LinkedIn's blocked out. And then I just forget it. Just forget about it. I'm like, we'll stick with Instagram or, Facebook, whatever I can use. All right. So you played three things before, and then we kind of talked about it. I throw you a category. You list some stuff. We move on to the next one.
Done.
Perfect. All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. These are three things. First category, rom-coms.
Okay. What about them?
I'll just list three rom-coms.
Three
Top
rom-coms.
of your head.
Well, J-Lo comes to mind.
Okay.
She has so many, but the first one is Made in Manhattan.
One.
Gosh, I'm terrible with movie names, okay? So forgive me.
If you could throw out someone who's in it, maybe we can get you there.
George Clooney. I think is it
so
considered
many.
is it a rom-com if it's I think it's called Up in the Air.
Up in the Air.
Is that a rom-com or not really?
I like it, so let's count it. Up in the Air
Let's
too.
count it.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
count
Anna
it.
Kendrick, George Clooney. It's a great relationship. Yeah. Interesting time in history. Yeah.
And it's a holiday movie.
What a movie. Okay.
I'm probably not going to get it. So I'm really going to fail at this one because I really suck at the names.
Okay. Let's try it. Let's go for it. What do you think the name is?
Holiday switch.
Holiday switch. All right, 3. Very nice.
Or holiday swap.
Holiday swap. There's 4 Christmases. I think that's one. Holiday swap.
Where they like end up with like the different partners. They went to they travel.
Is that The Holiday?
It might be
the one
Holiday.
Jack Black's in it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Jack Black is
The
in
Holiday.
it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're better.
Is it Jack Black and Jude Law?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. That's who else? I can't remember. It's a good one. It's a classic.
It is a good one.
Yeah. Those are 3 great picks. Made Manhattan, Up in the Air, The Holiday. All right. Strong start. All right. This next category, I'm going to push you. We're going to go a little faster. Okay. Ooh. All right. Here we go. Soccer positions.
Defender.
1.
Forward.
2.
Goalie.
3. Very nice. Last category. Mom stuff.
Mom stuff. Mom guilt.
1.
Martyrdism.
2.
Or martyr. And wine.
3. These are 3 things. All right. Very nice. I love that speed in the last 2. You were like on it. Yes. All right. So we're going to circle back. Why did I ask you about rom-coms?
Because I actually love rom-coms. As much as I love them, I don't remember the names.
That's okay.
But I like the old school, like 90s rom-coms.
It's like You've Got Mail.
You've Got Mail.
Sally.
Yes, You've Got Mail.
Classics.
I was going to say Tom Hanks, but I couldn't remember.
Just any Tom. Yeah. That's
any
always
Tom
a good
Hanks,
one. Sleepless in Seattle, right? That's another
Sleepless
Tom
in
Hanks.
Seattle. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. Any movie he was in the 90s, pretty much. Yeah. A lot of them were rom-coms.
Yeah. I love Tom
You put
Hanks.
Forrest Gump, I remember, in your information sheet.
I love Forrest Gump. It's not I don't think it's a rom-com.
No, what is Forrest Gump? How do you even describe it? It's like a biography.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's a biography. Yeah. It's all kinds of emotions in that movie. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all my all-time favorite.
Yeah. If it's ever, it's one of those movies you used to be able to catch on TV and it'd be like halfway through and you're like, well, it's on. So I guess I'll watch it. Yes. And then on like TBS or, one of those channels. Yeah.
TBS.
Yeah, that's an all-timer. Mm-hmm. Okay. So rom-coms. Hey, much respect to rom-coms. All right. Second category. Why don't I ask you about soccer positions?
Because I grew up playing soccer.
There you go.
I couldn't afford the AYSO, like the club. So I would play for the leagues, the city leagues. Yeah. And I played for Pomona City League. Okay. So shout out to Pomona City League Soccer.
Yeah, Pomona City League Soccer. We got tons of listeners from Pomona City Soccer League. So a lot of soccer fans are into improv. So a ton of crossover.
Yeah, I grew up. I played soccer for 10 years. I played varsity in high school. Nice. Shout out to my coach, Marquez.
Shout out Coach Marquez.
Coach Marquez.
Hope
He's
you're
going to
still
hear
coaching.
this.
Yeah. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
He's definitely not coaching. I know that for a fact.
Okay.
But I know. Yeah. He retired.
Oh, okay. Oh, well then, congratulations, Coach.
Congratulations on the retirement. Exactly.
Yeah, good.
Soccer. I actually a year ago I started playing for the West Side LA City, like a league club.
Oh, okay, cool.
For adults, social.
Right. Yeah.
So just trying to go back into my youth.
Yeah.
My youthful soccer years.
Yeah.
I love soccer.
Yeah. I think that's amazing. I think, side note, but like playing sports as an adult, I think it's like a really good thing. Like it's just good for you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's fun.
It is really fun. Although I will say that getting injured is not fun.
Yeah.
I strategically selected a social league because I'm like, they're not going to be very competitive, though there were a couple.
Yeah, there's always going to be.
I got slammed on the face with a ball, and it was like almost lights out. I was like, maybe I need to reconsider playing soccer at this age.
Yeah. It's tough out there. It's tough.
Yeah, because the recovery is not the same.
It's not. Well, and then you have to go to work and you're like, I can't recover from this injury properly.
I'm like, I can't see. I'm seeing blurry from one eye.
Yeah. I had a basketball injury earlier this year. It took me out for like a month because I messed up my finger and I was like, I can't bend it anymore. The doctor's like, you shouldn't play for a while. I was like, no.
Yeah. No, it's not an option.
Doc, come on. It's all I got on the weekends. No.
Yeah.
So I understand, but that sounds less severe than a soccer ball to the face. That, oh man.
Yeah, it was very close too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could have been a career, you know?
I know.
Just like that.
Not the face.
Yeah. All right. So that last category, mom stuff. Why'd I ask you about mom stuff?
I have a 2.5-year-old. Yeah, I was going to say.
2.5-year-old.
Yeah, I became a mom.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I have a daughter. Her name is Ariela.
Aw.
And I was considered a geriatric mom at 35.
What?
So, yeah. But I became a mom, and because after becoming a mom, life took on a whole different meaning. Whatever I thought I wanted to do, like I no longer wanted to do.
Yeah.
Whatever I had been putting off, suddenly, like now I have, motivation and energy to do it. It shifts perspective differently, and it gives you, I feel like, more meaning in life. You're like, gosh, somebody loves me unconditionally, and they depend on me. So yeah, there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I believe it. That's yeah. I'm thinking about that in the next couple of years. I'm like, that's gonna come, and it's gonna change my life.
100%. It's scary.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. I was like, oh man, that's really cool. That's really cool. All right, well, shout out Ariela.
Shout out Ariela, I love you.
Yeah. Oh, that's, see, save this, and then like 20 years from now, it's gonna kill. This clip's gonna kill.
Absolutely.
She's gonna be like, you went on a podcast and talked about me when I was a child. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Little digital artifact. All right. So we played some 3 things. We gotta talk about some improv. Yeah. So I want you to take us back to first time in your life when you learned about, saw someone yelled the word improv. When was the first time you were exposed to improv?
So, I saw on TV Saturday Night Live. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that was improv.
Yeah.
There was like nobody in my family. I was actually born in Mexico, and my mom was born and raised in Mexico. I was 3, coming here. So there was no connection to arts of any kind. And so that was like my first, you could say introduction was SNL in my adult years.
Yeah.
And I would say like a little under 10 years ago, I was living on Melrose, near Melrose, and Groundlings is there. And my boyfriend, who is now my husband, shout out Jeremy Herman.
Congratulations.
He said, let's go to Groundlings. There's an improv show. And I said, okay. And I loved I really enjoyed how amazingly like the people on stage were able to just come up with things, on like just quickly on their toes, witty. I was like, wow, that is so amazing. How do they do that? And they even brought my husband on stage.
Wow.
And he did amazing.
Really?
Yeah. He did theater and stuff growing up.
Okay. Yeah.
So he was like in his, zone.
He was in his element. Yeah.
Yeah. He was in his element. And I thought, wow, that's something that I would love to do one day. That was just the thought. Nothing that I really wanted to pursue. It was just something like just a thought.
Yeah, oh, that was really cool. I'd love to try that. Yeah. Anyway, back to life.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. So then you said that was 10 years ago.
That was almost 10 years ago.
Okay. Wow, almost 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. So then between now and your drive-by on Pico Boulevard, right, where you were passing through, was there any any improv stuff that happened between then? No, just not. It was just kind of in the back of your mind.
It was just in the back of my mind. Yeah. And yeah.
Yeah. And life goes on. You're working, you get married, you have a kid, and all of a sudden, you're cruising through LA, Pico Boulevard. Whoa! What's that sign?
What is that sign? Yeah.
IFTPA. What is that?
IMPROV'd.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a cuss word related to that, but I was like, I don't think it's that. So let me Google it. So yeah, I was curious.
Yeah.
I was curious. And you know what's interesting is that for as zero improv, or theater experience that I had none. I actually, in high school, I played soccer, but I not only played soccer, I was a part of the choir. I was a part of the dance company. And I just loved performing.
Yeah.
I loved performing. I loved the stage, loved a mic, and expressing myself creatively. But it was something that I didn't realize that was so deep innate with me. And I think that is what becoming a mother actually woke up in me, because, they say like becoming a mom, it breaks you apart and then you have to pull yourself back together again. And for me, it was pulling from pieces that were kind of buried deep within.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, this huge life change. Kind of like you said, you built yourself back and you're like, I'm going to go do these things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you started playing soccer as an adult, right? That rocks. And then you're like, I'm going to do improv now. Like, that is also very cool. And I think, interesting to hear. I always love hearing folks like talk about, like growing up, like in high school, right? You were doing choir, you were doing dance. Like those are, oh my gosh, those are performing arts, and you had that confidence and that you enjoyed being up on stage and in front of people. And now you're just finding another way to do that, right? And you didn't realize it at the time, but now all these years later, you're like, I'm going to do improv now. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Just like kind of those avenues where we find ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I have a way to perform again.
Yeah, but you know what the difference was? That I wanted to do something out of my element, something that I've never done before. I really was looking for something to challenge I was going to say myself and me, and so it came out my.
Challenge my. Oh, British, very nice.
Very British.
Yeah. All right. So you look up this place online. You realize it's not a cuss word. So that's good. And you're like, we got to talk to Matt about that. Maybe it's a branding issue. Say, Matt, we got to clarify.
Maybe it's genius branding.
Maybe that's it too. Because it was a hook. It caught your attention.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, just from a mere passing through,
Good marketing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, compliments to Matt. So you sign up. Your first class. Who'd you sign up with? Who's your teacher? What day of the week?
So I signed up with Matt.
Oh, sorry.
It was like beginner's class. I'm like, yep, definitely signing up for beginners.
Yeah.
And I signed up for Monday nights.
Okay.
Monday nights.
Man, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great class to start in. Okay, so you signed up. You show up. What were your first impressions?
I was terrified. I was so terrified. I had no idea what to expect. I knew what I was sort of signing up for, but not really. I didn't really know, really.
Yeah.
Like I knew I was signing up myself for like challenge and like stepping out of my comfort zone, but had no idea that I was going to be, coming up with like characters and making a fool out of myself in front of strangers, which I always had a hard time with, but I was like, no, I got to overcome this.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to overcome it.
Yeah. So, I was terrified.
Yeah, you were terrified. Was it like those first few classes, you always like, all right, can I get 2 people up, please? Matt always does that. Were you one of those folks who was like, let's go for it? Or were you like hanging back a little bit?
It took me months.
Yeah.
Before I finally, actually the last month. The last month that I was in his class, I was like, all right, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes that time. You got to build towards it. And then once you're ready, you're ready. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you said last month in that class. Have you jumped to another class since then?
I did. This month, I've recently jumped to a more advanced class.
Is it a Matthew Moore class or someone else?
No, this is an Ava's class.
Ooh, Ava's class. Okay.
Yeah, I heard she was like the pro. She was like, she will, help you build yourself into a genius improviser.
That she will. She will. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and her character work crazy, out of control.
Oh, I've seen it in class. I'm just like, whoa, I want to be like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
She is gold.
Some of the voices she does.
I have not heard the voices.
Oh, you got to see. Have you seen Ava perform?
No.
Oh, you got to say. Okay, when there's a show, Ava she's got these great characters that she just pulls out, and you're like, man, it just kills.
But maybe it's good that I don't.
That's true. Maybe not.
Because then I get to know her, and I don't have this like expectation and like this intimidation. Because I probably might get intimidated.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. She's not scary though.
She's not
the most approachable person.
She really is.
Also so talented.
She is.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's really cool. So you've had Matt's class, you've had Ava's class, and like already, like we said, like 5-6 months you've been here at IFTP. So what do you think are some of the things that you've grown in since you started as compared to now?
Wow, that's
we got to reflect,
so many things. While I was at Matt's class, sometimes he was away, and I got to take Matthew and Benjamin's class. They got to teach the class, and so I got to experience their teaching styles, which it's very interesting how different everybody is, but how fun. Yeah. Everybody's so fun. And I would say for me, it was just basically just getting out of my head was the first step. That was the first step, is getting out of my head. The second step was overcoming, like, looking and sounding silly in front of strangers, getting over that. Yeah. And I think one of the things that, has also helped me is, and I had no idea about this, but sometimes I would have to make up a class, and I would only be able to come on Wednesdays, not on the weekends. Yeah. And so I was coming on Wednesdays in a more advanced class, and I had no idea that it was advanced class. I was just like, I got to make this class, and this is the only time I can do it. And I remember Matt actually taught that advanced class. And everybody's like, gray space, and use your body. Don't say anything. Don't ask any questions. Don't introduce people. And you're just like, ugh, so much, so many rules.
Stop.
And then, the gray spacing, which is just, using your space and like coming up with like pretending like you are mowing the lawn, pretending like you're pouring yourself a glass of wine but making it big, for your audience. And I couldn't do it. I was very, very small movements. And then, Matt at the end likes to, I think most of the teachers at the end of whatever scene you're doing, likes to ask, so how was that for you? And you're just like, wow. And I got very emotional. And I said, I don't know why. I got teary-eyed and I wanted to cry. But I felt safe being vulnerable. And I just said, I didn't know that I have a hard time taking up space. And like everybody in the class was so sympathetic and so kind and supportive. And Matt then stepped in, and he shared a vulnerable experience of his own to kind of not make me feel like I was alone. And it was so helpful. It was a very profound, vulnerable moment. And, it was the first time that I felt like I could be vulnerable. Yeah. And I recognized something. I grew in that moment, and that realization allowed me to be like, oh, okay. So now we're going to learn to take up space. Now that's the thing to do now. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing now. Yeah. It's very empowering. Yeah. And I think that can really, once you come to that realization, right? Because it takes time. You have to work at it and find it for yourself. Once you get to that point, I think, it can really also just be empowering for you as a person, but also elevate your performance as well. Because it's that's what we want to see in improv. Get up there and own it. You know? That's what it's about. That's what makes a great performance, just committing and owning to whatever it is you're doing. Yeah. Yeah, and an audience is going to eat that up. 100%, right? Yeah. I wanted to add something because I just recently with Ava's class, and I just seeing the progress in the last, 5-6 months that I've been doing it. I showed up to the class, I guess, in my A game.
Oh, right.
And I was, for the first time, I actually believed that I was funny. Like, people have told me, like, you're funny. And I'm like, no, you're just saying that because you're being nice.
Yeah.
But I actually like heard myself, and like I got these like genuine laughs and like these characters that I came up with, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was so proud of myself, and I was just like, thank you, Ava. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, IFTB, because this is just, there was a healing moment for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And just to be able to be like, wait, I can be funny. Yeah, like for real. Like I really believe that. You know?
For real.
Yeah, because it can be so hard when someone compliments you like that, right? You just want to be like, oh yeah, sure. Like thanks for saying that. It can be hard to accept that, right? Yeah. But then sometimes when you're able to see it for yourself, you're like, oh, okay, no, that is actually true, and it's good, and I think everybody needs to experience that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, because most folks aren't good at taking compliments. It's just
I realized
brush it off.
Exactly. I realized I had a hard time taking compliments, accepting compliments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that. Still. Yeah, something we all got to work on, especially with improv too. It's such a positive environment, like so many opportunities both to compliment other folks and then to receive compliments for yourself, because you're getting up there, you're being vulnerable, you're making everything up. Like, that's a vulnerable space to be in. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy thing we do.
It is.
Yeah,
I realize I'm like, wow, we actually sign up to like, to be vulnerable. We sign up for for judgment, but like nobody really judges you, but you're just kind of like, whatever, Yeah. You make a fool out of yourself, and it's so beautiful. I didn't mention this, but in the work that I do, I always tell the kids, I always tell my kids, do you think that being vulnerable is weak? Like, are you weak for, when you're vulnerable, or do you think that you're strong? And, I'm amazed at how many kids actually say, you're weak. You're weak if you show vulnerability. And I'm like, no. Yeah. And so then I have to go into this whole lesson and tell them and get into a story. Yeah.
Because it's the opposite of that,
right?
It's
the opposite.
Like,
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing can be then, showing your true self, opening up, being vulnerable. It's so hard because it requires strength, right?
So much courage.
Yeah. If it were a weak thing to do, it'd be easy. But no. It's gotta, oh my gosh, it takes the most amount of strength to be able to do that, especially in front of other people, in front of a crowd or an audience, or, a class of kids, your peers, whether you're an adult or a student. Yeah, it's, oh man.
Yeah.
Incredibly challenging thing to do. So actually, and kind of a great segue at all. So as some of the work that you've done here at IFTP, has there been any crossover with your professional life? Let's see.
My professional life.
Yeah, your career.
I like how you say professional. Yeah. I've never actually considered myself a professional in anything. And, if I even have like the time to even share a little bit about my background and how I got here. But basically, in the work that I do, so I work with a nonprofit, and we are a storytelling organization. We're storytellers, and we tell stories, but we also help the students, the youth, middle school, high school, and even educators. We help them to reflect on their stories. They learn to write their stories, and then at the end, the most powerful thing happens. They share their stories with each other, and the cathartic experience that they get is very beautiful to watch. It's emotional. I've cried with them, but it's such a beautiful experience to be able to witness these kids. You meet them and they have these like guards up, and you win their trust, and then they share the most vulnerable, deep, dark parts of themselves. They trust you, you know, and then they let down a tear, and it just says, "I feel safe with you," and that's making me get emotional. But yeah, I've had a lot of cry sessions with a lot of these kids.
Absolutely.
It's not for the
faint
for
of
the
heart.
faint of heart. Yeah, exactly. This work is not easy.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're asking those kids to be vulnerable too, which
Yeah.
about that's hard.
Yeah. But I mean, that requires you to be vulnerable. With them
You have to prove that you
first.
can do it first. Otherwise,
Exactly.
no, they're not going to do it.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no. And you get, I mean, we go to the work that we do is mostly in areas that have underrepresented areas. And, I mean, I've shown up at Watts, and this is like, it's not even like a high school, you know, it's like a building.
Yeah.
And it's like an office, and there's tables and chairs, and there's this kid that walks in with an anklet monitor on him, a girl who is like, she has a 2-month-old baby at home, and this other kid who's, you know, has very like, I think they're probably in a gang, you know, but that's like, to me, like it's scary at first, because you're like, wow, like I have to work twice as hard to earn their trust, because their trust has been like, you know, damaged.
Yeah.
You know? And I've had to get real, you know. I've had to like tough love and say, look, I know you think I don't care, but I do.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like,
You showed up. That's why you're there in the first place.
Exactly. So there's been a few, not a lot, but have been a few of those where I was like, oh man, the neighborhood is sketchy. But it's like they need someone that has a similar history, that grew up with similar backgrounds, and then that can see them, you know. Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Okay, I'm going to ask you a couple work questions.
Okay.
It's related. And that's why we're here, to learn about you. For your work, is it often like kind of like a one-day session you go in, or is it like kind of like a week-long program, or kind of what's the timeline look like if you're coming into a school or classroom?
It depends. It depends if their school, you know, was able to afford, or like, because they're given funding for certain programs. Yeah. So it depends how much they budget, and they say, okay, well, we want you guys for one session, which is usually like a guest speakers, where I just come in, I share my story, they get to ask questions, and I get to answer. Yeah. Or there's, you know, 5 sessions, 1 hour in lieu of class. So I take up the class time. I teach them. I give them a journal, and 1 hour, maybe 90 minutes, and once a week, or maybe if the teacher wants to have it every day for the week, then we do that. But yeah, typically it's once a week for 5 sessions.
Yeah. Wow.
It's the most common one. It's the storytellers workshop that we do.
Because I imagine just talking about, you know, coming into a space and like having to establish that trust with the students, right? I mean, in such a short amount of time. Mm-hmm. Like as a classroom teacher, like, you know, in theory, you have all year. You know, you're going to get their trust quicker than that. Otherwise, the year won't go well. But still, you know, you got every day. You got the class periods. You know, you have that repeated schedule. Where like in your situation, gosh, that's got to be incredibly tough in the short amount of time that you have.
It's tough because by the end, like, you've won their trust, and they want you to stay, and you're like, I gotta go.
That's the hard part too. Yeah, it's like you're there, you make an impact, and then you're like, I'm sorry, like I gotta go to the next school.
Exactly.
Because there's other kids, you know.
And the thing is that in our work, in the work that I do, we don't really get to see the fruits of our labor.
Yeah.
You just have to trust that it's happening.
Yeah. You come, you plant, you leave.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. It's like, what's that book? You ever heard that book, like Yardsticks, like the educational concept?
No.
Yeah. We talk about like, it's the idea, I think it's Yardsticks. Oh, gosh, it's my PD's all mixed up. But it's like the idea, like with any like one teacher or educator, you know, that your impact in the student's life, like you can never see like the entire arc of it, right? You come along and you push them a little bit further, and like you both play a significant role and an insignificant role, right? Because you're one of many teachers or educators, you know, adults that student's going to impact in their life. But your goal in the time that you have is just to push them a little further along that line, along that development, to help them in their journey, right? Mm-hmm. It's like you don't want to overestimate yourself, but you don't want to underestimate either.
Yeah,
That's the thing. It's like, hey, I have a role to play here, so I'm going to do my best. That part, help move them along.
Yeah.
And then I don't get to see the end result, but I hope I kind of move them in the right direction, you know, with whatever part I played.
Have you ever reflected on your story?
I'm trying to, we did. When I was a teacher, that was part of like our summer work that we do. Like everybody would share their stories in front of the staff. It's like all the staff would get up. Yeah, it was cool, but it was also tough because it's like 30 teachers. So like we had to break it up into sessions, but we'd usually do that almost as an annual thing, which was cool because we'd kind of think about like how everyone's lives would relate back to like what we're doing in the classroom or approaching the classroom or just the work that we're doing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we did that. Gosh,
I'm curious to like what approach or like what was the format of it?
Yeah, I think everyone, we'd start by drawing like a life map. That was kind of like the initial exercise, just to get you thinking about significant moments from childhood to now. Like, how'd you get to this school, right? Mm-hmm. Like, where'd you come from? How'd you end up here? And then generally, I think everyone would be given like a maximum of like 10 minutes to kind of talk through their story. And some folks, would do like a broad life one. Some folks would focus on like a particular moment or event that happened that really kind of changed their direction in life. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, interesting. I'm always curious about like the different formats because with our organization we go through different, we call it 4 elements, the 4 elements of storytelling, and those are the people. We focus on people first, the places, the settings, the events, and the lessons, because there's many stories. There's different stories that involve people. There's many stories that involve settings. There's many stories, experiences. On experiences are the things that that we experience, a moment, and then there's the lessons that you learned from doing something or from not doing something, or maybe you learned it from somebody else. Yeah. So yeah, I had to go through like the storytelling format before I went to teach it, and boy, did it uncover a lot of things. And it was actually the first time that I told my story. In 2021, I finally looked at my story, and all of that is, again, tied to why I do what I do and the reason why I decided to do IFTP, because, improv, there's a lot of, like when you connect with people, there's a lot of improvising. You have to improvise. Oh, yeah. And I think for me, it was more like, I want to find better ways to connect to these kids. I want to be able to have fun, while I connect with them, because you have to get to their level. Yeah. You can't speak from up here. You got to get down, and you're going to be like...
They're going to tune you out.
Yeah. They're the terminology that you're learning, I'm like, what does Sigma mean?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. It's so Sigma, mister. Like, that's, oh, man, the amount of times I've heard that. Yeah. Mister, it's so Sigma. Yeah.
I gotta stay relatable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's tough. They move so fast,
Yeah.
But like you said, connecting with the kids, you gotta have a little bit of humor too. I mean, you gotta be thinking on your feet because they're gonna say stuff that's gonna catch you off guard. Both that's funny, sometimes sad, and everything in between, right? And you gotta be ready for that and ready to respond. And
especially with middle schoolers.
yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love that age group. It's a wild one.
It is. It's really fun. I really enjoy doing storytellers with the middle school students.
Yeah.
And there's less writing with middle school students. There's more writing with high school students. With middle school students, it's more about drawing.
Yeah.
Drawing and sharing out loud.
Yeah.
Speaking
about what you drew, right? Yeah, because then it's good being able to explain it and kind of like your feelings behind it. And, all of that. I love it. Some cool stuff. Okay, so kind of jumping back to improv. So thinking about long term, right? So you've been doing this about 6 months now. Is there any like goals or achievements or like just personal things you want to accomplish, like either in improv and something in like a related field, kind of looking ahead in your work here that you're doing?
It's interesting that you asked me that question because I think over the last, again, going back to becoming a mom, I've recently in the last year went through like I guess you could call it a metamorphosis. I've gone within. Sometimes it's all about like your physicality and like how you look and like you change your style. For me, the last year it was about going within and really checking in with myself. And as spiritual as it may sound, I had to revisit old childhood parts of myself that I had abandoned. And so I guess you could say that in the last year, I've been going through like a very healing journey of, going to Costa Rica and experimenting with plant medicine.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, why not?
Why not? And just healing old wounds, that really needed some nurturing. And but also it's this like moment of creativity, just kind of like not creativity, but like an idea sparked. I was in the shower because that's where all the ideas come.
So a lot of thinking.
When
happens.
you're in
it's a great thinking space. This is no interruptions. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
And I suddenly had this idea to start a podcast, and it's been a process because I've never recorded a podcast on my own. I've never done one. This is my first podcast interview.
You're getting those reps in. So
yes. Yeah. And I realized that, I have a story. I have a story that I want to share, but I not only have a story, I actually I believe that there are many people out there that have stories of their own that are unable to share because of their status. And, just to kind of share a brief part of my story is that I was undocumented for more than 30 years. And I honestly don't know how the fuck I managed to do life undocumented. It was hard. And there's so much about it that I never talked about. I just kind of went about my life alone. And, it's, people say like, I feel alone. I'm like, I know what it is to feel alone. I know what it's like to hide who you are because you don't feel accepted. And so you assimilate, you code switch constantly because you want to fit in, you want to feel accepted. And despite all of that, despite my status, I somehow managed to get myself through college, graduate from LACC. Shout out to LACC.
Oh yeah, I go to ELAC actually right now. So.
Oh, nice! It's in the same family.
Yeah, I was like, hey, so shout out LACC.
Shout out LACC.
Yeah.
I graduated in 2019, top of my class, summa cum laude, and I was the class valedictorian. And I'm considered a non-traditional student. So I graduated from LACC and I transferred to my dream school. I transferred to UCLA.
Ooh, go Bruins.
Go Bruins. And I majored in communications. And unfortunately, I only managed to get one quarter of college experience on campus because of the pandemic.
Oh, no.
It was sad.
Oh.
It was really sad.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed.
Yeah.
But I almost feel like it saved me from a lot of emotions that were kind of surfacing for me, because at that time the political climate was hot.
Yeah.
And as a DACA student at the time, it was not fun to be undocumented in 2020. So there's a lot of story that I have that lives within me, that I know that a lot of folks out there, they're probably still hiding, but I want to give them an opportunity to, even behind a mic or even behind a story anonymously, to be able to tell their experience, and really just let others into our world, because you would have never known, how difficult it is for somebody that, like, you see me and I look very much the American, image. I speak English. I went to school here. I understand a lot of the pop culture, not everything.
Yeah, sure.
But you would never guess, and it was an identity that I, for a very long time, just kind of stayed away from.
Yeah.
I had a hard time accepting, so I wouldn't even plug in to undocumented resources at school. I was like, no, I'm not undocumented. Why would I do that?
That's not me.
Not me. But UCLA kind of forced me to really look at myself. And so I feel like, I feel like there's so many things that I need in my toolbox, to allow me to become the not, I don't know if the right person is the right thing to say, but the person that comes forward and says, look, here's my story, and I overcame it despite all of these obstacles, and I still, I held on to hope. Yeah. And an IFTP for me is like another tool in my toolbox that I feel like will allow me to connect better, with a lot of the people that I will be interviewing. Yeah. Because, it's like you have to be quick on your toes, you have to be, creative. Yeah. You have to be creative, and you have to be present enough to allow your creative juices to come forth.
Yeah. It's the listening. It's like an interview, and having someone share can be such a dynamic thing, because you never know what's going to come up, and you want to be able to respond to that or engage further with something.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, just your opportunity to be able to give a platform to folks and shine a light on something that, it would be good for more people to know about and to understand, the experiences of other people out there. It's like, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Let me know when the podcast comes out.
I will. I have the name. I have, everything. I just need to. I really just need to sit down and record.
Just got to do it.
Yeah, so maybe I can get some tips and tricks from you.
Yeah. Let me know. The first one's the hardest, and then after that, it gets easier. And then once you get a process for it, it's just the hardest part is just you got to find people to come on.
Yeah, that I feel like that.
Yeah,
I'm like too cocky. I'm like, I'm very confident in approaching people and talking to them. Yeah. And I speak Spanish. And when I speak Spanish, I'm like a totally different person. I'm a totally different person. And I'm like, oh man, I change when I speak Spanish.
You're like, who was that?
But yeah, I realize that, when I see my people and, they see me and they don't think that I speak Spanish and then I speak Spanish. And then suddenly it's like they relax.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. You're okay. Yeah.
It is como yo. You're like me. You're like, yeah, somos iguales. Hablo español. No te preocupes. Yeah. There's something beautiful about that. There's something beautiful about, somebody feeling seen.
Yeah. And finding that connection maybe in unexpected places sometimes.
Yes. Too. Yeah. Yeah.
Really wow. It's good.
Especially when I go to, I love working out, and I've tried every single gym out there, from like, the 24 hours, like the club. Like the basic, only like a couple treadmills and a couple, things. And then I was like, I think I'm going to try something else. And then I went to Bali Total Fitness when it was around. It's no longer around. Oh, yeah. And then I was like, I think I need to step on my game. I need to join Gold's Gym. Oh, yeah. Because, they're a little bit more fancy. Yeah, yeah. And recently, after I had my daughter, I was like, what's going to be my push gift?
Yeah.
And I love fitness. I love working out. I feel like it is something that saved me. It saved me during the times of, hardships growing up, because we were poor. My mom, she was a single parent. I had 2 older siblings who were, unfortunately getting pregnant young. And I had a younger sibling who was actually born here. My 2 older sisters and I, we were born in Mexico. And my younger brother, who's 8 years younger than me, he was born here. And he dethroned me. I was the baby, and then he was born. And
wait, hang on.
I know. I was like, hello,
I have a problem with this.
Yeah. Who allowed you? Who said you could come here?
Yeah. I had this on lock. I'm not a middle child.
So there was a lot of emotions that I needed to come out, a lot of anger.
Yeah, you had to channel that somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. And as I got older, I did sports, but as I got older, I started to plug into the fitness world, and it saved me. Yeah. It's, as the natural endorphins that you build. Oh, yeah. That you create. And so I go to Equinox and I say that, because, I see a lot of people there that, first of all, when I go to Equinox, a lot of people don't think that I speak Spanish. And I go to the location that there's a lot of beautiful Persian people that go there, and they suddenly start speaking Farsi. And I'm like,
it's not. Yeah.
No, sorry. But seeing like the people that work there, and I love talking to them. I love talking to Rosa and Maria and the other Maria, and they just want to tell me their stories, and they confide in me in Spanish, and it's so nice, it's, and I'm sure that it's great for them, because then they're like, thank God, somebody's here, because you're like, you wouldn't expect me to be in there and speak the language, and really relate to what they're saying. Yeah. Because Equinox is like, it's a bougie place, But for me, it's more like I've earned my place in fitness world.
Yeah, you worked your way up.
I've worked my way up.
You started at Planet Fitness.
Yes. Yeah. I want those the towels everywhere, and I want the cleaning of the the equipment every 20 minutes. No, I'm kidding.
Do they wipe it down?
Sometimes they do.
Oh, okay.
But there's wipes everywhere.
Oh, okay. This is very accessible. You can be like, wipe.
There's eucalyptus, cold towels.
Whoa.
Yeah, stations. It's pretty cool.
They got a 7-day trial over there.
They have a 1-day trial.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
they don't want you to get real too comfortable.
Yeah. We've seen you all 7 days of your trial. You haven't worked out at all. You've just been hanging out. drinking the fruit infused water.
Yeah, the infused water, using the sauna and the steam room. Yeah, they even have cold plunges. They have cold plunges.
Never done one of those. I don't know.
I've done one.
Would you recommend it?
I recommend it.
Okay.
I didn't think I could sit through 3 minutes. They recommend only one.
Yeah.
But I was like, in the brain, the competitive.
Yeah, you're like, no,
brain.
I can do this.
I can be 1 more minute.
1 minute.
1 more minute. And I will tell you that I went in there and it was really cold. I got out of there feeling so energized. I felt like I was 15 again. I would
like to feel that again.
It is amazing. Your body doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Because, it goes, like when you put ice, what do they say when you get injured? Put ice on it, to decrease the swelling. Yeah. And I think that what it does is you decrease all the swelling in the body.
All that inflammation.
All the inflammation just, goes away. So, yeah, definitely recommend. 10 out of 10.
I got a tub at home. I got some ice trays in the freezer.
Do that.
I know what I'm doing tonight. I got a project. I only have 2 ice trays, though. It's going to take some time. Ugh.
You could just drive up to Big Bear.
Oh, that's a lot easier, actually. That would take less time.
Sit in your underwear in the snow.
Yeah, you said lay naked, so I don't know. It might be too cold for that.
We're going to get calls.
Yeah.
So did you guys advise on your podcast?
Yeah. Local podcast host lays naked in Big Bear snow. Why? Oh man, I don't want to be on the news. Not for that. Not for that. That's all the wrong reasons. But no, I definitely. I don't know. If I ever find myself, if I have the opportunity, I suppose I should give it a try. Give it a go.
Yeah,
give it a go. Yeah.
Definitely. Even if it's a once in a lifetime.
Yeah,
you'll get hooked.
Yeah,
but. Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's always like those influencers, they're like, I do a cold plunge every morning and that's how I start my day. Mm-hmm. I don't know about all that, but got to try it once.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually talked my friend into doing it with me.
Oh, it's easiir, if someone's going to do it with you. Yeah. Be like, hey, we're both going to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get that buy-in, oh yeah. Yeah, they yes-and it. Or did you pimp them into doing it? Tough to say.
No, I didn't.
No.
Yeah, she was very like, I ahead of time, I said, there's a cold plunging I'd like to try. Would you like to try it with me? And she's a person that likes to tries new things. So I asked the right person.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah, you had the right friend with you. It was like, okay, this friend's down.
Yes.
This friend's down to do stuff. Yes. And that's like, that can be good to have that person. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So I got one more improv question for you. Okay. And then we're going to do a little improv.
Okay.
So maybe you've already answered this, but maybe this is a summative question. Let's put it that way. Thus far, what do you think has been the impact of doing improv in your life?
The impact?
Yeah.
Whew. What is the impact?
Just like a nice softball question.
I would say, I'm thinking in terms of like the people that I've connected with. I've connected with a lot of new, amazing people.
Yeah.
I've grown in so many ways. I definitely challenge myself in a lot of great ways. And I feel like I connect better with my husband. It's so interesting because my husband has always been about connection. Connection. And for me, it was important, but not as important as it was for him. And I feel like IFTP has allowed me to stay more present.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like, oh, are we done with this conversation?
Yeah. Like, hey, I got things to do. I
gotta go.
I'm a mom. Equinox calls.
Yeah, exactly.
Equinox. Sorry.
I don't even know how to pronounce it, to be honest with you.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'll check then.
Yeah, check on your trial. I'll send you an invite.
Wait.
I think it's something crazy like $56 if you want to like if you're invited by a friend and you want to try.
Yeah, like the guest pass.
So you get a 1 day guest pass, and once they have your name down, then or 3 days, you can get 3 day pass.
Ooh, wow.
If I invite you.
Oh, I see. If you know someone.
If you know someone, then know someone.
Got it. Yeah. But there's like an online forum. They're like, hey, I'm giving away my 3-day Equinox gift.
Basically.
Whatever it is.
Yes.
Okay, good to know. There's got to be a market out there.
Yes.
Okay. So connection. That's been a big thing.
Connection with my husband, connection with other people, and connection with myself.
Yeah.
So connection.
There you go. Well said.
Yeah.
All right. Beatriz, you ready to do a little improv?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
I might need some warm up. Yes, and...
Yeah. Yes. And... okay, I'm going to hold this cable because this mic is being a little funky tonight. I might swap it out later. Anyway, that's a me problem. All right. So we're going to play a little game.
Okay.
Because in the spirit of the new year, when this episode is coming out and also being recorded, we're going to play a little game called a New Year's Resolution.
Okay.
So how this game will work, we're just going to start a scene. We're at a New Year's party.
Okay.
You know, it's going to go how it goes. But at some point, each of us is going to state our New Year's resolution. But that has been pre-written for you.
Oh.
On this piece of paper. I do know what they are, but I also don't entirely remember. So that's good. So you're going to pick one of these.
This one's calling my name.
Okay, there you go.
Because it's got an arrow. It says you.
Arrow. Yeah, that arrow. Yeah, it's old script that I just tore up and wrote on. So at some point during the scene,
I think it's written in French.
Oh no, nope. It's just my handwriting.
No, it's upside down.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow. I tried a little harder. I think I found that my handwriting is getting sloppier the older I've gotten.
Same.
I think it's just not being in school anymore. Like I don't handwrite things as much as I used to. So the reps aren't there.
And we're also a little bit more in a hurry.
Yeah, that too. And I'm left-handed. I don't hold the pen the right way. It smudges on my. It's the whole thing. They didn't. Back in the day when we were learning how to write, they did not help me. They should have fixed. They were like, "You're holding it wrong." But they didn't. They didn't. So
they didn't. They didn't think people should write with their left hand back then.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. That's the devil's hand, boy. What are you doing? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I don't even know who to blame, really. So just all the teachers, all of them. No, I shouldn't do that. I have much respect for teachers, and yeah, it's a tough gig, a great gig, but a tough gig. All right, yeah. So let's do some improv. So yeah, we're gonna be at a New Year's Eve party. At some point, each of us is gonna drop one of these resolutions. Doesn't have to be right off the top. We're just gonna kind of see where the scene goes, and then I'll black us out when we're done.
So I'm just kind of dropping this into the...
Yeah, we're going to start the scene, see where it goes, and then at some point you'll be like, all right, okay. I didn't want to tell you, here's my resolution for the... Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, just like that. So I don't know which one you have. I'll find out which one I have at some point. And
let me read it again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and you can read it whenever that time comes. I'll probably read mine directly off the paper.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Lights up. Oh my God! Thank you for having Chex Mix, Bold Mix, at this party. I was like, I was a little worried when I showed up. I was like, if there's no Chex Mix, I might have to dip out early.
Yeah, I thought there might be some Chex Mix, aficionados.
You got me. That's. Yeah, I mean, it's a little embarrassing to admit, but pretty much every party I go to, I judge it heavily by the snacks. Like if there's not some sort of pretzel-based jumble, if you will, I'm usually out of there, 10, 15 minutes. I make the rounds and then just dip.
Totally.
So
I once dipped a party because they didn't have a bowl of hot Cheetos.
Smart. Yeah, if they don't have what you want, why stay?
For real.
Why stay? Yeah.
Why even invite us in the first place? You know what we eat.
Yeah, it's like, yo, I'm hungry. Like, give me something good.
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest something crazy to you.
Yeah.
So I have this solo cup full of Chex Mix Bold Party Mix.
Okay.
Would you mind pouring some of those Flamin' Hot Cheetos in here?
Sure.
I just want to. I'm feeling adventurous tonight. It's New Year's Eve.
Yeah, New Year's to you.
Perfect.
It might be a little spicy, so just caution.
Handle
Flaming
my
hot.
spice. I can handle spice.
Okay.
I just, I drink hot sauce from the bottle.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, is it a mild sauce?
It's not good, but I do it. Okay. it's not, yeah, it's medium.
Medium. Okay.
So, okay, I'm just gonna shake this up.
Muy caliente.
Oh, so good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The party right here. I'm sorry. I'm Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
I'm Jeff. I kind of, how do I put this? I wasn't exactly invited to this New Year's Eve party.
Oh.
But I'm friends with Tiffany, who knows Beth, whom I think you invited.
I did. I invited Beth.
Yeah. So I'm like friend of a friend, if that's cool.
I mean, sure. Someone had to eat those Tex-Mex.
Yeah. I know a good party when I see it. And this is one of them. So thank you for inviting me.
I mean, I didn't really invite you.
Well,
but thank Beth and
It was you. It was you.
It was me.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was you.
Okay.
Yeah. So just.
All right.
Thank
Well,
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Yeah. And I just, it is New Year's Eve. So I don't know anyone else. So I'm going to share my resolution with you.
Okay.
It just feels right. Like
All right.
we've bonded over appropriate snack mixes at parties. What more of a connection do you need?
What more do we need?
Yeah. What more do you need?
Sure.
All right. So, I've been thinking about this a lot and never said this out loud to anyone.
Okay.
I'm going to become a professional napper.
A professional napper.
Yeah.
Wow.
And maybe try and set a world record doing that.
That sounds...
Thoughts.
Yeah, that sounds very like a hibernating experience.
Hibernating, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like a bear.
Like a bear.
Bears are cool. You know what bears do? They eat Chex Mix and they go to sleep.
They do.
So I'm already halfway there.
Exactly.
Stick. Okay. Well, it's good to get, like the public's impression. Because I guess this is a bit of a soft launch because, the ball hasn't dropped yet. So, I still have time to change this. But I think I'm going to stick with it.
Okay.
I'm going to stick with it. I find myself like at work, like it's just like there's so much time to kill. Like I could definitely take some naps here. I just really need to lean into that,
Oh, yeah.
It's like I'm already getting paid there anyway. So if it is,
Yeah.
I work in software development. And it's like I write like 2 lines of code and I'm good. So
It's pretty boring.
yeah.
So yeah, I can see why you would feel inspired to become a professional napper.
Yeah. It's just like, the time is there.
Yeah.
The time is there. It's really just, I gotta, put forth the effort.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put in my 10,000 hours, if you will.
10,000 hours.
Yeah. I think I really have something here.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I mean, sleep is good for the body. You're able to recover your brain cells.
Yes. It's gonna be.
Maybe you won't show up to parties uninvited.
Wait,
sometimes.
Sorry, what?
Oh, sorry. I just think that sometimes the lack of sleep.
I'm like a +1+1.
Right.
That tracks.
Yeah.
I'm a +2.
Of course, yeah.
Like +2 to the squared. Like that's how parties work, yo.
Yeah, that's like a thing now. Sure.
I'm sorry. You have a problem with me being here, don't you?
No.
See, when your voice goes all high like that, that makes me not believe what you're saying. And I just revealed a very intimate truth to you about my aspirations for the next year. Yeah. I complimented your snack mix. Mm-hmm. I developed a delicious new snack mix involving Cheetos and Chex Mix. Like, gosh, I'm really putting myself out here. I'm laying myself down on the line because I'm trying to prove to you that I'm a valuable guest at a party.
Yep.
And I just like, I don't know. You're not giving me anything. And now you're just being rude to my face.
I gave you Chex Mix.
You're just lying to me.
I gave you Chex Mix.
You had that before you knew I was coming, though. You didn't know Jeff Townsend was coming, you know.
I shared my hot Cheetos.
Which I appreciate, but I feel like you're being a little two-faced.
I know. Sometimes I'm told that I have two faces, you know. I'm like, hi bitch, and like, serious.
Yeah, it kind of hurts. Like I thought we were cool. Like we appreciate the finer things in life.
Look, since you're being very vulnerable,
literally, this is basically the innards of my soul. Just just pouring it out.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, just so you know that I'm okay, with you being here. I can share something vulnerable.
Okay.
I too have, a resolution.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
So
don't laugh at me.
I wouldn't do that.
Okay. Just saying.
I'm not two-faced.
Oh. I am going to start. Yeah. I'm going to start collecting weird socks. Okay, you're laughing. But not only that, I'm going to wear a new pair every day.
That's like, I mean, I'm sorry, but like from a sustainability standpoint, like from a financial standpoint, I mean, not trying to rain on your parade, but like, it's like a lot of cotton, and like,
yeah,
the world's resources are limited, And like I'm not like a hardcore environmentalist, but like I'll rewear socks,
Yeah,
So
see.
I'm sorry. I am being really judgy. I'm being really judgy.
Yeah, for somebody that didn't appreciate it.
You're right. Right. I'm sorry.
Look, it's fine. I'm used to people judging me for a lot of environmental decisions.
Oh, there's other like questionable environmental things that you do.
Yes, but I'm not gonna go there. I just want to share with you.
So what, you drive like a truck that gets 6 miles per gallon, I bet, huh?
It's a nice Jeep.
So yeah, I bet you only use plastic utensils at home.
I mean, it's a lot easier. I don't have to wash.
Oh,
I mean, do you really have time to wash? I mean, you want to take a nap? What is it, 10,000 hours?
10,000 hours of napping.
Yeah. Are you going to have time to like wash any utensils?
I got a dishwasher. I got a dishwasher. So I just put it in there and then I take a nap.
You know what? Some of those utensils are dishwash safe.
Okay, that's good. That's progress. Dishwasher, I've been told it's way more efficient than hand washing in the sink.
Really?
So many people are saying that. I can't name them, but a lot of them are.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll trust you on that one.
Yeah.
Since you are, coding, you're supposed to be very smart and, you sleep. You sleep, like to sleep.
Hey, I'm going to sleep more than anyone this next year. Look, I'm probably the most well-rested individual at this party. All right.
Do you have a good mattress?
No, I have an air mattress at home. Because I'm going to do my napping at work. So I don't need, why invest in that?
I mean, you could invest in I'm going to say it in Spanish.
Okay.
Sofa cama.
Sofa bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. That would be smart. Yeah. Say I live in a studio and, it's great because I just deflate the bed whenever I want to have company, which is pretty much never, but it's like the options
you don't look like somebody that gets a lot of visit. I mean, no offense, but you like Chex Mix and you come to parties. Who invite you, a friend of a friend, and you like to sleep a lot, and you make fun of my socks and my environmental decisions. Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. You got me there. Blackout. It's like, man, you got this guy pinned. Oh man, that was fun. Thanks for playing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that character. Also, now I'm thinking about hot Cheetos mix and Chex Mix. So that sounds so good.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna.
I
have a project.
Speaking of hot Cheetos, I grew up eating hot Cheetos all the time in high school. I was that kid that hid them in her backpack.
Yeah.
The teacher was like, "Don't eat in the class," and I was like, get it really soggy in my mouth.
Yeah, so there's no crunch, and then
and then I would drink I always carried. I don't know if that was you. I always carried my ice bottled water. So that it melts throughout the day and I'm drinking water
and
throughout
it's like
the day.
Consistently cold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm smart.
Wait. So you're eating the Cheetos though, but your fingers, how'd you hide the evidence? Just real quick?
I wiped.
Just on the pants, yeah?
Or on the backpack.
Yeah.
Inside of the backpack. No one's going to see the thing.
Yeah, gotta hide the evidence.
Exactly.
I respect it.
But it's interesting because even though I basically built the stomach lining to accept all these hot Cheetos.
You're like, no ulcers here. I can overcome.
I cannot eat hot Cheetos for the life of me anymore.
Really?
I have not eaten hot Cheetos for a long time. And then one day I was like, I'm craving hot Cheetos today.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat a bag of hot Cheetos. I had the worst stomach ache. My stomach was so swollen. It was awful.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is why you don't eat hot Cheetos.
Like, I see it now.
It's awful.
Wait, did you have like a favorite variety? Was it just like standard hot Cheetos, extra hot, limon,
Standard.
Chester's hot fries? Like what's the pick?
No, I think by the time that I was like leaving high school in 2004, the hot Cheetos with lime started to be introduced.
Those are my favorite.
So the old school traditional flaming hot Cheetos.
Okay,
Not extra, not lime, just
classic. And you got to respect that because that's where it started,
That's where it started.
Yeah. Man, it's
and now with Chex Mix, there's a little salt, a little crunch,
a
little spice.
Yeah, there's that like bold vinegary one. It's pretty good.
What has a vinegary?
Chex Mix. I know more than I should about. That's why it was top of the brain. I was like, party Chex Mix. Let's go. Yeah.
I'm not huge on Chex Mix. Okay. I think it's a more American thing.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no one I know that's as passionate about it as I am. So let's just put it that way.
Yeah, because I've only seen the traditional.
Okay, that's like the blue one, right?
Yeah, the blue and white.
Yeah, so there's like a black and gray one that's like it has more spices to it essentially, so it's just a little more interesting.
Yeah, I'm not big on spices.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I couldn't even tell you what's in there. It just tastes good.
Pepper. When I first learned about pepper, I was like, gross.
Pass.
Yeah. And my husband's like, pepper rocks. Yeah. Right. And then like butter on bread. I was like, why do people do this to themselves? But now
toast,
I do it.
Like buttered toast. Like come on, like buttered toast. Like
I do it now because I'm like, okay, fine, I'll try butter on toast.
Who's gonna turn that down? Anyone from anywhere. I say like, just heat up some bread, put a little butter on it. Like that's got to be a universal enjoyment. No, it doesn't have to be. So like that's one of those things. Maybe we figured out that's okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Though a lot of people with high cholesterol, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and then if it's margarine, then that's another problem.
Oh my gosh, my mother-in-law loves margarine, and you can tell she's a boomer.
Yeah.
Because she loves margarine.
Yeah.
Loves her sourdough with butter. And I'm just like, man, I don't think that's good for you, but all right. I guess.
It tastes good though. Yeah,
you've lived a long life, so whatever.
It's like, well, what can I say? You're older than me. So,
yeah. You have more experience than I do.
Yeah. Yes. Nothing I can do about that. All right, Beatriz. Before we conclude tonight's episode, any last words you want to leave us with?
Any last words? I guess I would just say, do yourself a favor and enroll in an IFTP class.
Yeah.
It's an experience that you won't regret. You can't regret it. It's hard. It's not something that you regret. It's something that you learn from, something that you grow from, something that you end up enjoying in the long run. And you have fun and you meet so many awesome people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. All right. Well, thank you so much to Beatriz Herman for coming on this episode of Improv for the podcast. As always, we'll be back next time with another great episode. But until then,
adios.
Bye. Improv for the podcast was created by Matt Moore and Michael Lee Evans. Edited and produced by Michael Lee Evans. And finally, presented by Improv for the People. Interested in more IFTP? You can visit us at improvforthepeople.com or on our socials, such as Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Remember, new episodes are released weekly. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.